Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close. And you're not looking at the calendar wrong. It is a Monday. So, that really hard day, everyone back to work, all of that fun. But yeah, it is a Monday. So we're doing something a little different in December. In December, we are doing, I'm calling it the Financial Express. So a train left the station yesterday, heading through the month, and we're adding stations. Every time you guys donate for supers or for gifted subs or a combination, we add a stop. And we got to stop today, and we also got to stop on there for tomorrow. So no matter what this week, you're getting market closes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see if we can add one on Thursday. We got Thursday. Maybe we can add one Thursday and Friday. Wouldn't that be something? A full week of market closes? Holy banana bread. That'd be kind of awesome. All right. Oh, and I did start a tiny bit early. I was just sitting here and I'm like, I don't want to wait an extra minute. I just hit the button. I hit the button. I'm like, the heck with it. I'm hitting the button early. So technically the stream doesn't begin for another 4 seconds. So I'm not saying anything important for a couple of seconds, just in case, just in case someone's coming in a little bit late. All right, now the stream has officially begun. Welcome, everybody. Welcome once again. We got a red day on the market, as evidenced by the red sign on the wall. Oh boy, what's going on? And not just red. Depending on where you look, if you look at Bitcoin, oh, it's taken a bit of a dive today. It's taken a bit of a dive for sure. And we're going to look at all of that. We're going to look at the markets. We're going to look at what the heck is going on. And we're going to look at some predictions for the month today as well as we go. And we're going to answer all your questions. We're going to go wherever you guys want to take the chat as well. And if that's not enough, if that is not enough, we got a bell. We got a bell we're going to ring here at in about 15 minutes. So what can I say? Let's let's not pull up double me. There we go. Let's pull up the market. Here we go. The new blue line is in place. And you can see this blue line started right here at the bottom of this red candle because that's where we ended November. November, it was a green month. I thought it was going to be red. I thought it was going to be a little red, but nope, it was pretty green. At the last minute, well, this here, look, guys, see this big line up right here? This is what happened the last minute of November. So, well, we're now getting a little bit of a retracement on that. We're not terribly in the red, but we are down 0.75% today on the TSX. So what's going on? What is going on? Well, we got a whole bunch of things happening. This is bank earnings week, so some people are worried about the banks. I know a few of them were downgraded, but honestly, I think the banks are going to do fine. I think they're going to be doing fine. We're also looking at, we're looking at the potential of some commodities. So oil. Oil's looking to spike a little bit this week on the strength of the friction going on with Venezuela. Just overall general, we're looking at geopolitical supply risks when it comes to oil. The other factor here is, yeah, we do have coming up. We do have a rate cut decision. I believe it's on the 10th of December. And because of last week, we had a very strong GDP. That's making people worried that we're not going to get a rate cut up here. We will probably get a rate cut on the U.S. side, but we may not get a rate cut up here in Canada. So that's a concern. That is absolutely a concern. And that's one of the reasons, at least on the Canadian side, why we're running into some of these issues. Now, the U.S., they're not faring, they're faring a little better, but not a lot. They're still down 0.44. Now, on the U.S. side, the rate cuts are also one of the drivers, for the simple reason that the U.S. is probably getting a rate cut. 25 basis point, I think, is where most people are putting the bet on. And I don't know why investors aren't liking that, but we get that. We also get the commodity issue that's happening with the United States as well. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces going on right now. So the Nasdaq also down 0.38%. Dow Jones down 0.75 and Russell 0.97. So we're seeing pretty much the same thing we're seeing right across the board. Now, also keep in mind, guys, all of these exchanges are also experiencing tax loss harvesting. We're in the thick of it. We are in the thick of it. That will have downward pressure for the first part of December for sure. So just another thing to keep in mind. Gold, on the other hand, not having that bad of a day, up 0.48%. Silver, look at that. Look at silver go. Hi-ho silver, 3.24% to the upside. Copper up a little bit, 0.57. Interestingly enough, oil seems to have stabilized a little bit today. It's down a tiny bit, 0.05. We'll call that flat. We'll call that flat. And here's a part of our big story. Oh boy, let's take a look here. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin had dropped all the way back down to that 85,000 support level. Currently, it is slightly above it right now, but it did dip below it a little bit. We'll have to see if this support level is going to hold. So that definitely something to be paying attention to for sure. All right, guys. Let's pull up our heat maps here, and you can see a lot of red showing already on the screen. We're seeing in the banks, and I mentioned people are worried about the banks, and it's showing. It is showing. Look at this: a Royal Bank down a full percent, a BMO almost 2%, 1.86. CIBC down, Scotiabank down a whole percent. Well, TD seems to be one of the better ones in here. They're only down 0.78%. Actually, no, National Bank is better, only down 0.36%. But we are seeing that WCN down 1.29. Oh boy. TELUS down another 1.91. I know a couple of you were talking about it on the weekend about finding a buying in point for TELUS. Well, it's even better today if you're looking for that entry point for sure. Looking at the United States, we got a little bit of everything going on here. A lot of companies are down. A lot of ads are popping up. But we got some interesting things. NVIDIA having not a bad day. They're up 1.51. Apple's up 1.27. Everybody else is down. Google's down. Microsoft's down. Meta's down. Tesla, kind of more flat. They're down technically 0.2, but I'll call that flat. So, yeah, pretty interesting day. All right, switching on over to crypto. Oh, boy. It's a lot of red. A lot of red. Yeah, Bitcoin's down. Ethereum is down. Holy cow. They're really trying to convince me to pay. They're really trying to convince me to pay. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. XRP down 8.03. Solana down. It is tradition that I like to find an altcoin I've never heard of. The market right now is in the gutter. It's in the tank. Let's find some green one that I've never heard of. What's this? Supercells token. So supercells, I know what supercells are. Those are jails that you put superheroes in when they turn bad. Guys, I don't know what this is. You know, is it for superheroes? Is it a game? Who knows? You know, maybe the cell they're talking about is like I don't know, like a plant cell. I just don't know. Don't know what this is. Kind of don't care. It is doing okay though, I guess today for whatever reason. But The reason I do this is I just want to illustrate there are so many of these altcoins out there. I call them crap coins because you know what? It's like going to the casino and playing craps. You're going to throw the dice, but the house is probably going to rack in the profits, not you. So be careful with some of these coins. They're very, very highly risky. And every so often we jump on one that sounds like a rug pull. I don't know if this one doesn't sound like a rug pull, but if you want to make money in crypto, well, you're not going to make it today, but stick to your Bitcoin, your Ethereum. Bitcoin will recover. Of course it will. It always does. Your XRP, Solana, even the Dogecoin, much better choice than any of these. All right, it is time to get back to the big channel. And before I jump into your comments, we got a pair of gifted Mountain Finance memberships from Relaxing Rain. That does make them the GOAT. So Relaxing Rain is our GOAT. I do not know who won, but I kind of want to find out. I'm just going to open this up here on the other page so I can see. So Roku won a membership. Awesome. And Zozo Trader. I love it. I love it. Guys, when there's gifted memberships, if I recognize the names, I'm always so happy. Yeah, and both Roku and Zozo are pretty active in the chat. So well deserving of those memberships for sure. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to click that off. Let's get back to the beginning. All right, Stang Ray in here first with a hello. Oh, well, hello. And normally it's Jonathan kicking us off, so you have ousted the Jonathan. We got Scratch in here for a good afternoon, and Scratch yesterday bought the stream for tomorrow, so that's not too shabby. Good vibes with a bonjour. Bonjour to you as well. I love it. I love it. And speaking of a winner, we got Roku from Stittsville here with a hello, hello. Cowboys in the house, greetings all. Kiev and Cass, good afternoon, gang. Loving it, loving it. We got Michael getting to business. And we actually looked at DLO yesterday. So they have an upgrade to 19 with buy signal. That last week, Consair Capital Management bought a new position of 30,000 shares in DLocal during Q2. Value that's pretty good. And we looked yesterday. We did look at DLO, and they've got, if I remember correctly, they have a pretty good return on equity. So this is a U.S. company, guys. But yeah, their fundamentals are not bad. Their fundamentals are not bad at all. Rory is in. Hi again. Are we going to discuss Algoma layoffs 1,000 workers? Yes. Oh boy. So Algoma Steel, guys, if you have not heard of it, it's breaking news. They're laying off 1,000 workers. I did not get a chance to read any deeper into the article, so I don't know when this becomes effective, but I never like to see layoffs. Well, I never like to see layoffs, but I especially never like to see layoffs in December, because that's probably one of the worst times of the year to get laid off, for sure. But this, of course, is in response to all of the damage from those steel tariffs. Not good at all. What can I say? Yeah, I'm not liking that at all. Brian says, good afternoon, everyone. Patricia is listening in. Tech and banks are my biggest holdings. Yes, I'm down. Yeah, and today, of course, we are seeing, we're seeing some downward pressure on the banks, for sure. And Kevin Cass says, 60 ready to launch tomorrow and banks are down. Yep. Yeah, Evolve picked quite the day. Now, we might see a recovery tomorrow. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. The only thing I do know is I'll be here tomorrow at the close. I'll be here tomorrow at the close. So Rory says I'm hoping bank drops below $9. Okay. I wonder what has bank done today. Actually, guys, I was about to get distracted. Rory, you were about to distract me. Let's get distracted anyway. I got 1 minute, and I'm keeping it in the back of my head that we have 1 minute to get over here and just take a gander at where bank is right now. 927. Oh, they're down. Look at that. They're down 1.383% today. All right. Guys, we have 1 minute to the bell. So if you are listening on your headphones and you really don't like the loud noises, just letting you know, we got the bell coming up. It is loud. It is loud. What can I say? It's a tradition, but I like to give a warning when I remember to, because, what can I say? What can I say? All right, we have about 30 seconds to the bell. Brian says, it will be interesting with 60 coming out at the same times as earnings for the banks. Do you wait or buy before earnings for 60? I think the banks are all going to do well, to be honest. I know that there's the talk of the downgrade, I heard, but honestly, they had a great quarter. I think we're going to see the banks do well. So with that in mind, I'm kind of thinking 60 is a buy sooner than later. I'm thinking that's where it's coming in. And guys, it is time. We have the bell. The market is closed. I love it. All right, we got one market under our belts now for December. All right, Roku says, what's better than Canoe? I know it's like the blanket you leave on the couch, but it's so flat. I'm thinking XDiv. Where I lose on divs, I gain on growth. I have a good position now. Yeah, I mean, I like both. I like XDiv, and I do, of course, like Canoe. Canoe is Canoe is an old favorite, and let's you know what? Let's pull Canoe up. CANOE. There we go. Canoe. EIT. Bang, boom, here we go. Good old Canoe. And flat. That's pretty flat, I would say. Canoe, it's kind of that interesting thing. Now, if I go back 3 years, after this big movement, a lot of people were thinking Canoe was a giant total return stock. Well, yeah, it's technically a stock. It is an income fund, so it has similarities to an ETF, but Canoe was never really designed for this growth. Every so often we get this type of growth with Canoe. That's more or less icing on the cake. Canoe is, they're designed for flat. And if you go out, let's go out to 5 years, you can see there's another big period of flat. And that's what we get with Canoe. You get periods of flat, and then you might get a little bit of growth at some point in time, and then it goes back to being flat again. Canoe is an income fund, guys. It's in the name. It's in the name. It's for income. It's not really designed for growth. Brian says bank is boring, but a little better than Canoe for dividends. Yeah, it is a little better than Canoe when it comes to the dividends, for sure. Larry says, well, was wrong about BTC. Glad I sold Friday. Yes. Bitcoin down around 85,000. It is hanging around at that, well, here. It's hanging around at this support level. That red line is the 85,000 support level. So it is hanging around there. We'll have to see how this is going to roll. If it holds up on this line, that'll be good. If it breaks below, that's not a good thing for Bitcoin. That will make me think, could we have winter coming in? Now, I will say I watched a video, I think last night. One of the Plan B ones with the whole stock to flow model. And they're still predicting some big things, another big massive blow off top for Bitcoin before any kind of a major retracement. I'm always kind of skeptical. I mean, yes, when you look at Bitcoin's history, it has stayed within the stock to flow model, but at the same time, There's been a lot of really wrong predictions along the way. So, we'll see what happens. I do think, and I still think we're going to see one more hurrah. I just don't think, I'm not as optimistic as Plan B is. I'm thinking, I'm thinking 130 worst case, 150 best case. That's what I'm thinking, but we'll see. We'll see as we move along. Oh boy. Girl Saint says CNR and Air Canada not down, not like the last month. I'll take a little good news. So yeah, and guys, let's take a look here. Let's look at both first of all. Let's look at CNR first. So CNR is finally seeing a little bit of movement in the right direction. So let's pull. As you can see, CNR, and I'm going to go 3 years because then we can really get a good feel. CNR has been on this long down trip. Now, when you look at it from this perspective, you can see, okay, well, there's a little bit of excitement about that. But to me, it indicates that we probably have bottomed out wherever CNR has been going. And I like this area as a good entry point, and I'd love to see this move up. CNR as well, guys. That's another one I'd love to see a stock split. And I wonder, I don't know if they, I don't know when the last time they did a stock split, or maybe they've never done one. I'm pretty sure they have. Let's find out. Let's just go on in here. This is over on Yahoo Finance. And here we go. So yeah, they did a 2-to-1 stock split. Oh boy, 2013. It's been a long time. So we know that they've done at least one in the past, but I think they're ripe for one. I would love to see one, but who knows? Who knows? Some companies don't. Some companies, it doesn't concern them if their prices are high. So that's fine, I guess. And we were going to look at Air Canada too. So let's just go back over here to Air Canada. All right, here we go. So Air Canada is now hanging about over 19 again, over 19. So as you know, in the challenge, I've got some Air Canada sitting in the 0 to 100K challenge, and I'm not going to sell that until 21. So it's not being touched. But in my regular swing trade, the one that I share with the channel members, I did sell out of my Air Canada position because it was in a profit, and kind of wanted to sit back and wait and see. And now the nice thing about that one is I have much more luxury. So I could buy Air Canada tomorrow. I don't have to wait the 30 days because we're not in a TFSA for that. So that's fantastic. But what can I say? All right. Brian says 15.12% dividends for bank. Yeah, that's significantly higher than Canoe because you're paying a lot less for bank. Hence, you're getting more money for your buck for sure. Morley says, hi, everyone. I am in the house. Nice. Welcome. Welcome in the house. I thought I heard a noise downstairs. Roku says, woohoo. And that's from winning a channel membership. Relaxing Rains. Relaxing Rains. Relaxing Rains. For a second, I looked at it again for a second, and I thought it said relaxing grains for a second. I'm like, what? What's a relaxing grain? Is that like a piece of wheat that's asleep? I don't know. Let's see. I hate that my name has changed. Can I fix it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So Brian fixed it. Brian, do you still have the instructions? Could you post those for Girl Saint, who doesn't like that name? And I'm trying to remember what Girl Saint's name was before it changed. I've got so many names in my head. What can I say? Got some MSTE today at 472. Good day, all. I'm hoping that's a good entry point. I actually think it probably is. MicroStrategy strategy on the other end of this, I think they're going to be fine. I think that a lot of the pain that they're creating today is going to pay off on the longer scale. All right, Roku thanking Relaxing Rains for the channel membership. Cowboy says, I'm liking bank. We'll look forward to 60. Yep, you don't have to look forward too much. You don't have to look forward, like quite literally, guys. The next time the market is trading, 60 should be on it. So, uh, Victorious says, "Happy December, all." Yeah, December, one of my favorite month. And guys, with this whole Financial Express thing, oh boy, you guys could potentially have 16 bonus streams. And also keep in mind, guys, December 25th. We have our Christmas morning stream. This will be the fifth in a row. So we've been doing it now this will be our fifth year of doing a Christmas morning stream. And I will tell you, when I did the first one, I wasn't expecting anyone to show up. But lo and behold, it was pretty popular. So it's been going ever since. So it's not a long one. I think the Christmas morning stream, it goes about an hour, roughly an hour. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. It's a way to just chill with you guys for a bit. All right, Relaxing Rains, you're welcome. That was to Roku. That was to Roku. All right. Curious says, "Good afternoon, everyone." All right. Roku says, "I have bank and e-bank too." Oh boy. Michelle says, "Hey. Well, red seems to be my portfolio's color." There's a lot of red going on today, guys. A lot of red for sure. Let's see. BNS announces tomorrow to kick things off for the banks. So yeah, we'll have Scotiabank tomorrow. Like I said, guys, I think it's going to be pretty positive, and it'll be interesting to see what the TSX does. If all six banks report, let's see, if they all exceed expectations, that could be a bit of a pump. It could be a bit of a pump, so we'll have to see. Michelle says, "I have not been investing long, and I've not been around for a new ETF launch that I'm interested in. I have bank, but with 60 coming out, do I buy both and switch and see?" Well, that's always the good question, right? So, I mean, the big difference between bank and 60, obviously, is bank it is more diversified because you are getting the life cos in it as well. So you've got Manulife Financial, Great Western Life. You're also getting Power Corporation as well. So POW is in there as well. So you are getting, Sun Life, don't forget Sun Life. You're getting a lot more for your buck on that. But with 60, yes, it is more concentrated. And it does pay twice a month, so semi-monthly. And one other, I think no. I was going to say, I was going to mention the leverage, but I think 60 uses a little bit more leverage than bank. So I believe bank, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe bank is 25% and 60 is going to be 33%. So those are the kind of differences. So 60 technically 60 is a higher risk ETF than bank. So that's kind of where you want to draw that line. Because maybe if maybe if 60 is outside your risk profile, bank might be the way that you might want to stay with bank in that situation. But it'll be interesting. Michelle says, "Confusing. Why Evolve will have competing ETFs?" They're not really competing. They're similar, but they are different. They are kind of, I think there's enough differences between the two that it's not that big of a concern. But yeah, will they lose some customers for bank that will move to 60? Yeah, of course they will. Let's see. Cowboy says, "I sold Canoe, did DFN, LFE, did much better in dividends." Right, so those are split core. I'm going to do, I actually want to do a split core video soon. So, one of the things is, with so many covered call options nowadays, split core, in a way, they've taken a little bit of a backseat. But we're going to be looking at split core again pretty darn soon, because I'll tell you, if you understand the structure of how split core work, they can be very nice. And they are a way, if you don't want to cap upside potential, they are a potential way to get around that and still get some pretty high dividends. But nonetheless, we'll talk more. We're going to talk more. And like I said, I want to get I actually got a couple of split core ideas that I want to come out. And actually, the interview I'm doing on tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm doing an interview. I'll be filming that earlier in the day, earlier in the afternoon, before the market close. But I'm actually talking to a couple of the fund managers for Split Core. Has a Split Core. 9 Point has a Split Core, so we're going to talk about that in this interview. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's still. I'm not sure when that's going to drop. Probably next week, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Larry says if Doge drops to 0.057 to 0.09, I'm going all in. Okay, fair enough. Brian says DF and DFN have paused dividends before and tanked until they started paying again. Canoe has never missed a dividend. Yeah. So what happens with a split core? Just to sort of bring you guys up to speed a tiny bit. So, all right, here. First of all, let's go to the. You know what? You know where I'm going, don't you? You know where I'm going. I'm going to the whiteboard. We're going to the whiteboard. Here we are. I do like the whiteboard. I need a marker. All right. So with a split core, well, kind of the big thing about split core is that they are. There we go. Split core. There we go. So you have two. Basically, you end up with two different shares. So you end up with a preferred. I'll just put pref. There's your preferred, and you end up also with a your class A. All right, so the way this works is that your class A, this one is designed for income. I'll just put an I. This one here is designed for, well, basically growth. So you've got the two of them. Now, this one here, it's preferred. So it is preferred. So what they do is with the money they're making, whatever they're holding, however they're doing it, like, here's a funny thing many of you may not realize. The fund manager can actually run covered calls if they want to within a split core. That is an option. That is an option. But anyway, whatever the money they're making, that money is all guaranteed to go to the preferred. So the preferred gets paid first. And then whatever's left comes to the Class A. Now, the Class A tends to have much higher yield. So let's just say, for example, let's just say we got a 10% yield over here. Now, this one will have some dividends. Maybe it has 3%. But that 3% gets paid out first, then that 10%. So and this is where Brian kind of came in. Brian said suspended their dividend. Well, when does that happen? Well, if their NAV, they have what's called a NAV threshold, and that's usually equal about $15. So if that NAV threshold falls below $15, they will more than likely have to suspend that dividend. And that's kind of what happened with DF and DFN. Now, here's the funny thing. You may look at this Class A share and it may be worth, let's say it's worth, maybe it's worth $10. And you're thinking, as soon as you see that, you're like, okay, but why is it paying its dividend? $10 is less than 15. Well, maybe this preferred is worth $6. In which case, the NAV, the combined NAV, and that's the number they use, the combined NAV would actually be 16. And 16 in that case is over 15. So, yay, things are going up. But in severe markets, let's say that $6 falls down to $4 and that $10 falls down to, let's go with, let's just say it doesn't fall. Let's just say it doesn't fall. It's still $10. If that were the case, though that would never be the case because that would fall. But, well, actually, let's do it. Let's make it more realistic. The $6 falls to 5. The 10 falls to 9. There we go. In that case, all of a sudden, that combined 9 and 5 is now 14. And 14 is below 15, so that means no dividends. So they will suspend that dividends, and then they'll concentrate on getting that NAV back up above 15. So that's what happened. So with DF and DFN, that happened, of course, during the pandemic. They had a couple of months where that happened. I think for one of them, there was like 3 or 4 or maybe 5 months in a row where they had their dividends suspended. But that's just what happens. It's kind of a strange math. Now, the interesting thing too is split cores. You're not going to find them in the US. They are a distinctively Canadian creation. So, and here's the thing, in the interview, like I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing it tomorrow. You're going to learn a lot about split cores because I've got some really good questions in there for them. All right, let's go back to the big screen. Claudia in the house. Hello, everyone. A little late, but here to learn from rainy Vancouver. Today, actually, in Ottawa, we actually saw the sun. So there's still snow on the ground, but we did see the sun. All right. Ian says, just got here. Wow, Bitcoin down 6%. Yep, absolutely. Rory's calling Canoe a steady Eddie. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Oh, so good. Brian says, if I ever buy CNR, everyone else should go all in. There we go. Um, why not? Why not? What was I going to? I was going to mention something. Oh, guys, having the coffee made me think of the like button. So if you haven't hit that good old like button, now's the time. Now's the time. I actually don't have a clue. Actually, you know what? Give me a second here. I'm going to refresh my test model over here so I can get a look here since Mary isn't here to complain. So yeah, guys, 70 people here, 27 likes. Come on, you could do better than 27. So all right, you guys do your thing. I'm gonna see what Paul has to say here. Our 2006 Maytag washer went finally, so I bought a new set of LG front loader washer and dryer set from Costco. Delivery December 8th. Nice. Nice. You didn't call up the Maytag repairman, Paul? Do you guys remember the commercials? Maytag, they used to have the loneliest guy in the world was the Maytag repairman because apparently Maytags were so good they never broke. Well, except for Paul's. Paul's finally went. The good old Maytag repairman. Actually, they had two, if I remember correctly. There was the original Maytag repairman, and then they eventually replaced the actor with the guy that played Carlton on WKRP. So, interesting. All right, let's see. CNR should do a siding for the other train. Oh boy. So Tesla needs to go to 469 to pay for that. Blossom says I'm down 0.5%. Guess I'm going to have to ask for my old job back. Uh-oh. Well, maybe. Or there's probably some side hustles you can do down there in Colombia. I'm sure there's got to be something. All right. Let's see here. Harvesting Income said, happy holiday season to you and all participants. Absolutely. Happy holidays to you as well. I mean, it's December. It's December. It's that month where whether or not you like the holidays or celebrate the holidays or know about the holidays, you're going to be exposed to the holidays. There's no way around it. All right, and Brian is mentioning, so to change your YouTube name, go to YouTube Studio, click Customization, click the Basic Info tab, and enter your new name. Click Publish to save your changes. Oh, that's the same way I did it for the channel. All right, cool. Okay. Michael's talking about DLO again. Michael, you get very caught on a topic, that's for sure. Girl Saint says thanks. And we'll see what Girl Saint is going to be called here in a few moments. Brian says, you're welcome. I hated my assigned name, changed it yesterday. There we go. No Mary today. Hit the like button. Yep. And actually, you know what? I asked everybody to do it a moment ago when it was at 27 likes. I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to refresh this again and see how many of you heeded what I had said. All right, 32. So that's what, 5? 5? Fantastic. I like it. Strategy set up a 1.44 billion USD reserve and grew Bitcoin holdings to exactly 650,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin. A lot of Bitcoin for sure. Oh, guys, Mary's here. Hi, Mary is here, and she is watching, Rory. There we go. You see, you just had to say Mary's name 3 times. All right. Rory says, cool. Canadian banks seem so safe. Thank you for your knowledge. Yeah, our Canadian banking system, we've got one of the more resilient systems in the world. So, like I said, for me, we got 2 things you can hedge your money in today. You can hedge it in gold or you can hedge it in Canadian banks. I think both are safe. Ian says, I still have 200 shares of Scotiabank, probably just going to keep them. It's in my non-registered account. Keep the eligible dividends coming. Sell in 30 years or so. Yeah, there we go. Brian says, I have bank stocks, Canoe Bank, eBank, and I will get 60 tomorrow. I've decided to keep them all to hell with worrying about overlap. I bought them for a reason, and the reason is still valid. Okay, yeah, that's the whole thing, right? That is the whole thing. Bleak says, hey all. And Mario says, good afternoon, everyone. Rory, I don't get the bank dibs until January, so I have time to add. CLSA is a new split core. So yeah, and let me pull that one up for a second here, guys. All right, CLSA. Now this is one I really like this because this is not just a split core. This is an ETF. So it is a basket of split cores. So one of the beautiful things about this is, you remember when we were looking at how the how they can suspend dividends and looking at that threshold, the NAV threshold. Well, when you're holding a basket, if maybe 1 or 2 fall below that threshold, the others are you still get the income coming from all the others. So that will help this one. So CLSA, if we take a look, and I'm going to show you here. All right, because they haven't been out for that long, but look at what they have done. They've gone, well, they opened at around $10. Around $10 they launched. They're up to $13.21. This one is doing a fantastic, and you're getting, look at this, you're getting this 10% yield. So 10.134%. That's really, really good. And I know, I recently did a deep dive on this. And that yield, they've got a goal for where they want that yield. So I would not be surprised to see a dividend increase coming in the future of this one. So just keep that in mind. So CLSA, it is, I do like it. I like it quite a bit. All right. Cowboy says, HBTE continued its drop. Do you think it will affect the distributions? Right now, I think the distributions are fine at the moment, but because the distributions, the biggest factor on those distributions is that volatility. And right now we're seeing some major volatility. So I can see them doing well with premiums. But there does come a limit. If that price continues to keep going down, it could eventually have an impact. But right now we're still looking good for the moment. I'll certainly pay attention, but like I said, last month I did add to HBTE, and I'm probably going to add a bit more this month. All right, Michelle, would love a video on split core. Thinking CLSA seems to be doing well. Don't understand the end date and how it works. So yeah, what happens with a split core is there is a basically, it's a date of expiration, or a date of maturity. So what will typically happen is, I've never seen any of them just fold up on that date. If they did, they would have to pay you out at the NAV. So you would get paid out. So there's no danger that you would lose your money if it if it expired. But honestly, they'll just get extended. That's what happens. And with this Brompton Split Core Income ETF, it's not going to have an expiration on it because it's an ETF. It's not a split core. It just holds split cores. Keep that in mind. This one is not a split core. It's an ETF that holds split cores. So a very different beast. It's a very different beast for sure. Did you hear the good news? Oh gosh, every time I hear somebody asking me if I've heard the good news, it usually is a Bible that they have or something. But all right, did I hear the good news? National Bank is going to raise dividends probably 4 cents. Yeah, we were talking about that. Was it yesterday? I think it was. It really looks like most of the banks are due to be raising dividends this time around. So that doesn't surprise me. 4 cents. I like that. Let's see. The preferred shares still receive the dividend, just not the Class A. Right, exactly. No, the preferred shares, they get everything first. It's the Class A where it gets cut off. So it's kind of that cost of having that extra high dividend. So you kind of have to work that into your calculations. But the reality is, in a in a bull market like now, there's not even a danger of that. It's usually in a bear market, and sometimes it has to be it has to be pretty bad. It has to be pretty bad. So for the most part, yeah, we're like I said, we're gonna do some videos. We're gonna look a lot more at split core over the next little while. Not like we're gonna do split core every week or anything, but I think I've got at least 2 split core, one of them being that interview, and I want to do another split core video in addition to that interview, but just the two, just the two. All right. All right. Andrew says, just a quick question. Did you hear the news from ALV, so Alva Petro today? Is it a loan and is it bad? I did not hear, but let's see if we can find out. Let's see if we can find out. We're going to just pull up ALV over here. ALV. Where is Canada? Where is Canada? All right. All right. Oh, let's see. AL. Let's see here. All right. I might have to actually pull it up on the other thing. I probably should. I probably should bring you guys in for the ride. Let's go over here. We're going to go ALV. There we go. Yep. Alvo Petro. Pulling it up. Bang. Boom. Let's go to their news tab and take a look here. All right. Alvo Petro announces a 20 million credit facility. Okay. Interesting. Let's just take a look. So let's just see here. All right. Announces that okay. Extractor to, okay. They've entered into a 20 million loan agreement with BBA International. Okay, interesting. So 7% loan, 12-month grace period upon which a loan. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, Andrew. Like I said, this is not giving me a lot of information. I'll have to look a bit deeper into that. But that is an interesting move. That is definitely an interesting move, for sure. All right. SBT ETF is where it's at today. I'm more bullish on silver than crypto long term. I do like silver. And let's actually, you know what? Let's take a gander here. SBT, let's put it up. So this here is the Purpose Silver Bullion Fund. So this here, it's gonna, basically they're holding silver, physical silver. You're gonna see here, no dividend. This is pure growth. And silver's been doing well, guys. So prepare to see a big movement to the upside. And you can see this, like this here is a fund that's gone from $16.34 to $29.38 in a year. So that is not too shabby at all. I'm pretty bullish. Like, I'm bullish on silver, I'm bullish on gold, and I'm bullish on copper. So copper, big time copper one. All right. Paul says, tell us price today, 1812. Last time this price was January 18th, 2016. Yeah. I mean, and you can see this, you can see this in TELUS. You can see the same type of thing happening in Bell with some of the low prices Bell has had. Rogers as well. So yeah, it's been a rough year. for the telecom sector. I do think that they're going to do better in 2016. So that's kind of a good thing. Afternoon Candace and Mountain Finance friends from Heather. TELUS dividend yield 9.19% per Questrade quote. Oh, you guys did not see the CLSA. Oh, all right, guys. CLSA, I'm pulling it back up because I wanted you guys to see the screen. Here we go. This here, and let me just pull up the year. This is your CLS screen. So they were created back here, March? They've been on a ride. So they were created at right in about here, right around $10, and they've gone up to $13.21. So yeah, this here is our CLSA chart. There we go. Oh boy. Shock. Yep. That's what we need. That's what we need. You know, if you guys had the ability to actually shock me, you're right. It would never happen again. It would absolutely never happen again. That's for sure. Brian says I have some CLSA, but not much. DF and DFN are just shy of 17% yield. I can't see buying CLSA at 10% unless DF and DFN look risky. Well, the big advantage, like I said, the big advantage with CLSA is that when you do get that suspension of dividends, unless every single fund they were holding all suspended dividends at the same time, which is unlikely, their yield is much more isolated. So you're still going to get a yield. Maybe you'll get a slight reduction. I don't know what they plan to do in that situation, but it looks pretty safe. It looks a lot safer. Doorpat says, I am late. Hello, everyone. Blocks has the same issue as HBTE, going down from crypto and miners and crypto companies. Blocks distribution is always variable, 36% of NAV price on Thursdays divided by 52, so has been having a lower distribution. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Harvesting income. Your views on BTCY and ETHY. So good old ETH. And their pure funds given bearish crypto market. So yeah, ETH and BTCY, like during the last crypto winter, I jumped into some BTCY while crypto was kind of crawling along the floor, because then that way there I was getting my crypto exposure and I was getting a dividend, which was nice. But here's that thing with these is that when you have that explosive growth. So once Bitcoin left the 20,000 area and started clearly climbing pretty fast as it made its way slowly up to, let's not say slowly, but it's made its way fairly quickly up to, up and past the 100K mark. I got out of BTCY really fast. Because of the lost upside potential, I moved into a straight spot Bitcoin ETF at that time. So I think at that time it was BTCC I moved into. So I like when we've got a flat market, something like a BTCY, and I believe Evolve also has, I think Evolve has a cover call one as well. So yeah, there's definitely more options out there now with covered calls when it comes to Bitcoin. But here's the thing. If you've got a really bullish Bitcoin market and it's doing a lot of big things, you probably don't want to be in either of those. You probably want to be in a straight spot ETF just so that you pick up all of that upside. Then once it's up in the upside again and it's just moving flat or it's not moving that much, then certainly go back into your covered call at that point. CLSA holds mostly quadravest splits like DF, DFN, LFE. Yeah, I'd like to see them expand from that. And they might, depending, and this really depends, right? Because there's not a lot, there's not a lot of companies doing split core. A Quadravest, yeah, they're definitely one of the companies I think of the most when I think of split cores. But so 9Point, like I said, they now have a split core, and there are other companies. So I would love to see a bit more diversification. And I think that would benefit CLSA if they expand that beyond what they're holding right now. Politician says gold plus silver up, DPM down ominous. Adriano has been buying the CLSA ETF each month. Yeah, I wouldn't blame him. It is a good, it's a good ETF. You're in Canada. I am. I'm in Ottawa, the capital city of Canada. That ALV loan at 7% is not that great. Even my unsecured line of credit is 5.65%. Yeah, I thought the 7% was high, but like I said, I'm not sure why that's happening. I do need to look into that a little bit more because right now I just don't have enough data to make any kind of judgment on what's happening with ALV. But it's concerning. It's enough that it's one of those things that make you go, what's going on? All right, what will happen to typical oil and gas stocks like Exxon or Chevron if we move away from combustion fuel to electric or other options? Um, well, okay, let's hypothetically, if we were ready to move away, that would certainly impact their bottom line. Yeah, for sure. But we're not. We're not even close. Like right now, like even if you look at Canada, we don't even have the infrastructure to really support. So if you look at the ambitious goals that came from the Trudeau government, the ambitious EV goals, there was no way we could support it. There was just no way. Even chargers, the grid itself, and you also have to look that there's another player on the field too. And this is kind of a big thing. AI. AI is using a crap load of energy. And that's kind of competing against the energy that's available for, well, a lot of the electrification of vehicles. So I think it's going to go slower than everybody sort of anticipated. And I think for that reason, oil and gas, I don't think they have anything to worry about. Not in the foreseeable future. All right. Jean says, let's see. Do you have any idea about Sun Life? It dropped a lot while other insurance companies performed very well. That's a good question. Let's take a look. All right. SLF, so Sun Life Financial. Yeah, and you can see, I'm going to pull up, let's pull up the 1 year. You can see, yeah, we've had a little bit of a drop here, but looking at it from perspective, and I'm going to go back 3 years. To me, it's still, I mean, they're still going up. It's not a big, I don't think it's a big concern. Of course, you can always take a look in the news and see if there's anything in there that sort of stands out. So, like their last news story is that they're announcing lower fees and new names for Sun Life tactical ETF portfolios. Well, there's nothing bad. Like I'm not seeing anything bad here in the news. So if anything, I would say it's just regular variability. And when you look at it from the longer scale, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Let's see. Tim says, put all my money in MSTE. Just lost my place. Going to Canadian Tire to spend my final dividend on a blanket. Am having to move into a shelter. Okay, Tim. Now, Tim is a bit of a joker, guys. I'm going to assume that Tim is being funny. If not, buy one of those emergency blankets because those tinfoil blankets, they look silly, but they hold a lot of heat in. They hold a lot of heat in for sure. Can you think of any strictly telecom ETFs off the top of your head? Oh God, I know there's one. I can't think of the ticker. Off the top of my head, but I know that there's at least one. But it's one of those areas, like I've been so down on telecoms the last couple of years that I haven't even looked at it, but what can we say? Politician says Bitcoin to 23,000 by August. That's quite the prediction. I don't see that. I mean, I do see a crypto winter ahead, but I don't see it. Honestly, I think the bottom of the next crypto winter is going to be between 50 and 60,000. I don't see it going down to 23,000, but if it does, oh boy, I would be concerned. I would probably, yeah, I would be very concerned. Morley, the person that moving to the shelter because of MSTY, I'm probably joining you. Oh, there we go. Politicians, Tim, you have a new friend. I love it. It can be like we can make a buddy Disney movie about the two of you living in your little Tinfoil shelter. Now, guys, of course, we're just kidding here. Obviously, if that were really the case, I would not be making light of it because, yeah, that wouldn't be good. Brian says, I have almost 20,000 in DF and DFM. I'm not going to give up the yield just yet, but I will keep a close eye on them in case I need to bail. Might not even buy CLSA if I need to sell. Okay, fair enough. Doorpat says, will MSTE go to zero? Unlikely. Unlikely. There's only one way MSTE would go to zero. Strategy would have to go to zero. And for strategy to go to zero, Bitcoin would have to go to zero. So when you look at the chain of events to get MSTE to zero, highly improbable. Now, politicians might disagree, but highly improbable. I heard MSTE might be delisted. I've heard rumors, but I haven't heard anything official. So that's one of those ones where, you know what, take it with a grain of salt. Don't, not to say ignore it, pay attention, but until you hear something official, I would take it with a grain of salt. Let's see, No Harvest has been clear. They are in MSTE for the long term. They are bullish on Bitcoin over the next 20 years. Yeah. And that's what that's the thing. I think MSTE is fine. Yes, it's going to go through some rough time, and it's not over. It's not over. But if you, even if you were to go ahead 5 years, the people who are holding MSTE in 5 years will wish they could have bought it today. That I will say, and I'm pretty confident on that. Tim says Bitcoin actually had a good weekend, just dropped off a cliff late Sunday, bouncing back now. Yeah, Bitcoin, when you look at it, the weekend, and let's pull this up here, because we are still on the Bitcoin chart. It wasn't that bad of a weekend. I mean, we moved up here and we had a little bit of flat. We had a little bit of sideways for a bit. And then, yeah, yesterday it was just bang. And this here, look, guys, this is the 1 hour chart. So this giant drop, that was in 1 hour. So pretty much the worst of the damage from yesterday all happened in a single hour, just bang. But yeah, now, and this is, I like to see this, we are getting some green candles put together here. We got two, and they're not bad. So, I'd love to see them back up at 90,000 again. Actually, I'd love to see it back up at 100,000, but, I'll take what I can get. Mario says, I picked up a small position on CLSA last month. Nice. When the electric grid can handle electric cars for the masses, I will be a fossil fuel source. I love it, Cowboy. I love it. Cowboy-powered cars we'll have in the future. The government is dropping the electric car mandate and rebates, another failed liberal policy. There we go. That will never happen. So Michael will never drive a cowboy-powered car, or maybe that was something else. It's probably about Bitcoin or MSTE. Brian says battery technology isn't up to snuff yet for Northern Canada. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think, and that's the other thing. I've heard unconfirmed reports that a lot of these batteries, these EV batteries, don't do well in super cold temperatures. So there's a lot more to do. There's always propane. Propane is still a fossil fuel. All right, Tim can't afford a blanket at Canadian Tire. Use the horse blanket on the stall. Oh, there we go. Is there a good resource to find Canadian companies with awesome cagers? There's a lot. Like, one of the more comprehensive is if you actually go to the TradingView. TradingView, their screener will give you a lot of options that you can really narrow things down. So I would say check out TradingView. Definitely one of the better ones for sure. Let's see, I think Rory meant MSTR being delisted. There we go. Now that's a possibility, yes, because they're on the NASDAQ. There is definitely some kind of a limit. Like if you drop below it, but we'll see how that happens. Right now, I don't think it's official at this point, but sure, it could definitely happen. Lord Fubar says, I think the Bitcoin pyramid scheme is over. Sell it before you become the bag holder. Yeah. Some people, there's still, believe it or not, there's still a lot of people that do believe Bitcoin is a scam, including, I mean, Warren Buffett, is in that list of people. So, and he's a smart guy. But right now, and I look at it this way, whether or not Bitcoin is a scam, and I don't think it is. I'm not in the same camp as Lord Fubar, but I am in the camp that if it can make me money, I will still play it. So yeah, but you always want to be careful. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Doorpat, what's the impact of delisting a stock or ETF to investors? Well, all right, let's go down the rabbit hole. So let's say MicroStrategy or Strategy, if they got delisted from the NASDAQ, the knock-on effects of that are that ETFs that track the NASDAQ, well, they're going to sell MicroStrategy when they do their next rebalancing because they're no longer on the NASDAQ. So that would be selling pressure on a strategy. So that could actually pull the share price down even more. Even more. But according to Paul, strategy's up 1.74 in after hours. So, well, that's interesting. Japan carry trade. Oh boy. Uh, yep. That is never good. So that's basically with Japan, the Japan carry trade. It was a way to get almost pretty close to zero rates. It's like it was a way to create money that you could then use for whatever your endeavors are. Yeah, I don't like I would never do it personally because you get things like, well, what Brian is saying. Japan keeps talking about raising their rates, and yeah, a lot of investors get screwed when that happens if they are involved in the Japan carry trade. Mayor says, think about this. Plastic toy dinosaurs are made by real dinosaurs. Ooh. You know what? It's adding some realism to that little T-Rex. Like, raw. I like it. Andrew says WSP fits the awesome cager companies and is knocked down. It's selling for Black Friday Christmas present prices presently. Nice. The sodium battery will change the EV business dramatically. Agreed. Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting developments with sodium batteries. I've been paying attention to this. I like it for sure. Andrew says, thanks for trading view tip. That's another Christmas present. Oh, there you go. Yep, sell Bitcoin, says 64 and 46. That's kind of like the more complicated version of 6 and 7. No, I'm joking, 64, 46. It's funny when I hear a lot of these numbers. Do you ever think back to the old Maxwell Smart Get Smart show? How they all had numbers? I always thought that was funny because Maxwell Smart was 69. And they used to always call them by their numbers, and that was always fun. Mayor says, guys, I'm a 20-year veteran of the EV industry, including battery tech. Sorry to say, most of your comments in the subject are false. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer. All right, here we go. Bismarcky, I have a new nickname, Bitcoin Bag Holder. All right, YGG says, hello there, with 60 coming out tomorrow. Is there any information yet on the price and yield? Also, will you be buying some right away? Thank you. Okay. I will normally wait, but, and this kind of came up earlier today, with all of these banking, with all the bank stuff dropping this week, all the bank earnings, I'm very bullish on what we're going to see this week for the bank earnings. That could actually be quite a pump for 60. So I think they're dropping at the exact right time. So I'm probably, you know what? Yeah, I think tomorrow is probably a day to consider. I'm going to consider it. Newell, there's a bunch of countries that are crypto friendly outside of North America. Would be interested to see what happens if a Bitcoin is a pyramid scheme. Yeah, that would be an interesting rabbit hole to go down for sure. Harvesting income. Which sector ETFs can one consider to invest, hoping lower interest rates in US? I'm thinking XHB Home Builders ETF or XLRE. Request your views on these or other similar ETFs. All right, let's take a gander. Let's take a gander here at Let's go with XLRE. All right, XLRE, here we go. All right, so this here is your real estate select sector SPDR fund. And actually, we'll click on this one. This is the real one. All right, so as you guys know, I've been bullish on real estate for a long time, but you know what? Things have been changing. When we look at this one of the things you can see with this ETF, well, technically it's not. I guess it's a fund. It's a fund. It's not bad. It's moving in the right. I mean, it's slowly moving up. It's not exciting though. It's definitely not exciting. Do they have any kind of you got like a 3.265% quarterly dividend. So it's not like it's a big dividend fund. But here's the thing. Normally, REITs should be doing really well, especially now in Canada. We've not been seeing the movement that we want to see with REITs. And I think part of it, at least on the Canadian side, part of it is that there are many other ways to make income, because one of the reasons is when interest rates were coming down, people would be moving out of bonds and into things like REITs and utilities. Utilities are still getting their love, but REITs have not been. And there are other issues at play here. Now, the United States, I think the REITs are a little bit better off in the States. With this fund here, we are seeing just a lot of movement to the side. There's nothing here that excites me from the looks of that. Now, I'm just going to go into the back end here. Yeah, I didn't think I've got very little information in the back end. So I don't know about this one. But let's take a look at XHB. I just want to see here. I want to get excited about one. I want to get excited about one of them. So here we go. These are the home builders. Now the home builders, I can't even see the chart yet. I'm going to say I think it's going to do better, and I'll tell you why. I think it's going to do better because there is more of a stress of rebuilding infrastructure, rebuilding housing. So I think there's going to be more pressure for them to be going up. And let's take a look. We'll pull up that 1 year. All right. So this one here, you can see, yeah, and this is kind of where we would have started to see a little bit of pressure since Liberation Day down in here. They've been moving up. They've, retraced a little bit here, but I think I'm liking that one just a little bit better. They do have a smaller yield, so they're not even a full percent. So this is going to be a growth play. But yeah, I'm liking this one a little better of the two. Now, mind you, like I said, they are both U.S. I don't know if these are going to be your big money makers. I think there's probably better options out there. But of the two, XHB would be my choice between the two of these. Now, I will point out one other thing is right now my REIT play it's actually with a Hamilton Hamilton ETF RMAX, and I'm going to pull this one up here. They haven't been out that long, but we'll pull up. So I'm going to pull up their entire history. Here's their entire history. They came out just as the initial rate cut started happening, and at that point, REITs did respond initially. Especially in Canada, we had a big explosion, and this went up, but it has come down, and it suffered a lot. But if we get any recovery in REITs, we'll see it in here. But in the meantime, this one is providing a pretty half-decent yield. Right now, we're at 10.315%, not too shabby. So this right now is my current real estate play. So I got out of Timber Creek Financial. I also got out of RioCan, moved into this. So I at least, while I'm waiting for any kind of recovery in that sector, I am at least getting, I'm getting paid. I like that. This one is also interesting too because it's 50% Canadian REITs and 50% US REITs. So I'm getting some of the exposure to the US market as well at the same time. All right. Excuse me. Cowboy says 86 and 99. There we go. Exactly. 60 starts trading Tuesday, and I know it. it's 260 for the trade. Yeah, there we go. Rich with Rich, what's the estimated yield on 60? That I don't know, but you know what? Let's see. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're interested, I'll drop this in. I'll drop this in one more time here. Okay. This here is just a little thing I'm going to be attending on Saturday. It's a 1 hour call. It's hosted by 9 Point, and they're going to talk about basically what's shaping up to alter the market. You know, some of the key drivers for 2026. They're going to talk a little bit about covered calls and some of the myths surrounding them, and they're going to talk about risk and leverage. So I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty interesting talk. I can't wait to listen to see what they're going to say. So I just dropped a link in there. There is the link if you want to register. I would say this, guys, register, and if you got time on Saturday, check it out. I think it is geared towards beginners, so I'm thinking it's going to be really interesting. So I think a lot of you will probably like it. I am going for sure. All right, well, wait a minute. Now, with that being said, that's not why I came over here. I actually didn't even intend to mention it again today, but hey, why not? All right, I'm going to come in here just to see if we got any more information. Let's pull this up here. Let's see here. I'm just seeing if they're in, because I haven't actually read this press release, if it has anything at all on I'm not seeing anything in here that looks like. All right, now I'm just wondering if it's already listed, because that could be an interesting thing. Do I have a listing here yet? Let's see. No, they haven't even put it yet in their website, so I don't have any information yet. But we'll know. Hopefully, we'll know tomorrow. We may not know tomorrow, but I'm hoping that we do. Bismarcky says, wasn't it Venezuela that was okay, wasn't it Venezuela that was adopting Bitcoin a few years back? Not Venezuela. No, not I was going to say El Salvador. Was it El Salvador? It might have been El Salvador, the one, because they were doing like the whole Bitcoin mining with using energy from a volcano, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I think it was El Salvador. Mayor says Bitcoin's ultimate test is now. If it isn't a store of wealth in the debasement trade, central banks aren't hoarding it, and it's not an actual currency. As of now, it's a failure. I don't know. I won't go that far, but we'll see. We'll see. Actaz says, I've been holding RS for a long time. It's on drip, and when I break even, I think I'm out. Yeah, so RS, that is, I believe that's another split core. Let's pull it up here. Let's take a gander. All right. Here we go. RS. Yeah, and it's a real estate split core. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I would agree with you on getting out of that, because right now, real estate not in the best place. Yeah, look at this. This is not great. Not great at all. So yeah, I would I would definitely definitely. Now here's another question I have. I have to look. Well, on the bright side, I don't see any recent dividend suspensions, but let's see. When is the last time these guys suspended their dividend? Let's take a look here. Okay. All right. We're looking good. Actually, the dividend's looking pretty strong. So I don't see any dates. A lot of times with this one here, they'll actually have a blank spot if there was no dividend given. So that's one of the things I do like about this one. But on the bright side, you're getting the dividend. But yeah, I can understand wanting to get out because it's on a slow ride down at the moment. Tim says, just a reminder, Mayor, our NRW Bitcoin is up 351% in the last 5 years. It is. Absolutely. El Salvador. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was El Salvador. Cowboy, I did 3 REITs, bailed out as they were doing poorly, didn't lose any, but would have if I stayed. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's see here. Tim says, I wouldn't say the fundamentals of Bitcoin have changed at all, and more institutions and countries are investing in it. It just hasn't shown up in the pricing yet. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I'm on the pro side for Bitcoin. I do like Bitcoin. For Bitcoin to be over, the fundamentals of what it is would have to change, or there would have to be a major security breach or attack from governments. And that's the thing, yeah, there needs to, like, as things are going right now, I don't think, like I said, I don't think there's a danger. But could there ever be a danger? Well, there's always a danger in something, right? All right, and let's see, what are the fundamentals of Bitcoin other than a potential currency, which it is hardly used as, and a store of wealth, so it should be up like gold and silver, and it's not. It's not really, though, it's not yet a store of wealth. And that's the thing. I want to be clear on that. It has the potential, but it's not there yet. We're still looking at, I would say, 5 years. I would say a minimum of 5 years before we could even try to make that as an argument. Cowboy says, wasn't there a Silk Road associated with Bitcoin founder going to prison? Well, nobody really knows who Satoshi is. So there's been people who claim to have been Satoshi, but they've all been debunked, as far as I know. Paul says, even VICI in the U.S. has done terrible, down 12.27 or 12.27% in last year, but has a 6.24% yield. Even O is flat. Yeah, absolutely. That 9-point webinar is 8 a.m. Pacific. That is pretty darn early. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. It's an early morning one for those of you on the West Coast, but here it's pretty late. I think it's 11. I think it's 11 o'clock here. So watch that and then go have lunch. Ecuador. All right, there we go. All right, guys. This is our first market close in a whole bunch. I think we're going to have a lot of them this month. We will be back tomorrow. So we do have a Tuesday market close. Before I go, just a huge shout out once again to Relaxing Rains, who dropped 2 gifted memberships today. So thank you for that, and congratulations to the winners of the gifted memberships. So that's always fantastic. So we will be back here tomorrow. We're going to do this all over again, and we'll also be back on Wednesday. So also, guys, tomorrow, got a longer video dropping tomorrow. I think it's about 20 minutes. But you know what? The channel members asked for it, so it's coming. It's coming. It's all about how to research stocks and ETFs. So a lot of information. That's going to drop for you guys tomorrow. I can't wait, and we'll be back tomorrow afternoon, as I said, with the market close. It'll be fantastic. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.